Good evening, everyone. Ken McLeod with you on this Saturday night. The pilot of a small helicopter is recovering at the hospital tonight after his small chopper crashed this morning in Venice. It happened at roughly 11:30 when the helicopter crashed into the fence that separates the Venice Municipal Airport from the festival grounds next door. The male pilot was the only one on board, and he was taken to the hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. The festival grounds were not being used at the time, so nobody else was hurt. The FAA will investigate this crash. Two teens have been arrested in connection with a murder in Thanota Sassa. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says that's where a man was found dead in a car on May 28th, not far from Sterling Heights Park. Detectives now say they arrested 18-year-old Savignon Woods on Wednesday. He's facing charges of first-degree felony murder and robbery. On Friday, the sheriff also arrested a 17-year-old on the very same charges. The Pasco County Sheriff says the man you're looking at tried to break into a business in Wesley Chapel on Tuesday. Authorities say he then stole two vehicles along Wesley Chapel Road and was actually spotted driving one in New Tampa on Wednesday. Both vehicles were later recovered. If you have any information on who this guy might be, you're asked to call the Pasco Sheriff's Office. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office is looking for two men who robbed an armored truck on Friday, and investigators believe this is the getaway car. They say the driver of that armored truck was robbed at gunpoint in Ellington when he stopped at a gas station on 17th Street East. The driver told deputies that at least two men forced him to lie on the ground, grabbed his keys, and then stole several bags of cash from the truck. They took off in what appears to be a 2021 black Chevy Equinox, perhaps with a getaway driver. If you have any information, you're asked to call the sheriff's office. Police in St. Petersburg are trying to track down the driver involved in a deadly hit and run that happened on May 22nd. This footage shows the car that drove away after striking and killing Anthony Reynolds of St. Petersburg while he was riding an electric scooter. Anyone with information is asked to call St. Pete Police. Soaring rents are a problem nationwide, and Tampa is no different. In fact, rent hikes may soon threaten to chase people from their homes. Reporter Layali Shalaby has the story of an organization that's trying to help.
A new study has shown that Tampa residents must make a minimum of $84,000 a year to afford rent in the Tampa Bay area.
We are really finding so many people in crisis right now.
A study that came out from universities studying rental rates ranked Tampa's rent the 18th highest in the nation.
We are actually seeing 500 families or more a month coming to us looking for help because they're in a housing crisis each month.
Americans from all over the nation flocked to Florida in the past few years, causing rent to soar.
30% of your income should be going to your rent. And the cost of housing has gone up so dramatically, but salaries have not been going up.
According to a report from the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average income of Tampa residents is around $57,000. That's nearly $27,000 less than they can afford.
There's not a lot of folks making that much money in our community.
Metropolitan Ministries is a nonprofit that assists with housing in the Tampa Bay area.
Well, we're doing the best we can to help families that come to us in need. Preferably, we'd like to have folks not fall into homelessness, maintain their housing as best they can.
The new study has shed light on a big portion of Tampa residents who have become rent burdened.
People aren't going to be able to live where they work.
With the growth of the entire state, residents are at a disadvantage when it comes to living where they grew up.
My long-term concern is that more and more families are going to fall into homelessness. And when that happens, the impact on the entire family is so dramatic that as a community we need to team together to do the best that we can to help families in this current crisis so they don't find themselves homeless in the future with all the ramifications of homelessness.
In Tampa, Layali Shalaby for Tampa Bay Now News.
Florida's free fishing weekends continue tomorrow. This weekend, you can go freshwater fishing without a license, both Florida residents and visitors. Normal bag limits and size restrictions apply. If you want more information on the free fishing weekend, the link is going to be on your screen here. An annual license for freshwater fishing is $17 for Florida residents and $47 for visitors. Saltwater fishing was a freebie last weekend. Florida explorer and medical researcher Dr. Joseph Dituri surfaced yesterday after living underwater for 100 days. This was a scientific research mission, but he also established a new record for the longest time living underwater. The research focused on how the human body and mind respond to prolonged exposure to depth, with the hope it'll benefit ocean researchers and astronauts alike. The National Weather Service is now confirming that a tornado hit Satellite Beach earlier this week. Investigators were on the ground Thursday checking the damage to verify the storm's intensity. They've now concluded it was an EF1 tornado. Roughly 50 homes were damaged, but fortunately no one was hurt. All right, let's get a check on your forecast now with meteorologist Derek Fisher.
Yeah, much quieter now, Ken, as we make our way through the rest of the